guys, welcome to Global Marketing. We go from the classroom to the virtual classroom. So how's it all going? Depending on how class goes, maybe we'll be doing all of our classes live since we're such a small group, or maybe recording like this is going to be the best way. We'll see what works. But for the meantime, I wanted to give you a recorded lecture so you know what that's like. It's going to be a little bit repetitive of what we did our last day of class before we went on break. I did that on purpose just to give us a little bit of time to get used to the online environment, what we're doing. And yeah, just kind of know in advance what was coming up in our class. So let's go over this in our new environment. Here what I have is our week 9 overview. Okay, like we always have at our homepage, we always have the overview. I have a new syllabus. So when you click on this, it opens up. And then the new syllabus has our new online environment. So if I scroll down to where we are right now, we're going to be finishing off our HubSpot Academy. Quiz 4 is due on next week. Okay, and that's the quiz that you just take in the HubSpot book. And if you online, and if you pass it, then you get certified. If you don't pass it, you don't get certified, but you still get credit for our class. So up to you on how you want to handle that. And then we get into our Kickstarter. So whether we launch our Kickstarter or not is still kind of up in the air, but we will be building out social media. We will be building out the Kickstarter itself. You know, we might as well do it. We're right here. We got the time and the tools and the resources, so let's go for it. And Valerie's on board doing the web page so we can get some SEO tags in there and get some online marketing. And this might be the right environment also for Kickstarter, especially being a food product, because people are stuck at home and looking for things to do. And quinoa is actually very good at protecting people against the coronavirus because it has so many antioxidants and it has so many vitamins and minerals, and it's anti-inflammatory. So it really helps to boost your immune system and give you that healthy push to help protect you with corona. And in Bolivia, they're doing an amazing job at fighting the coronavirus. In Oruro, where the quinoa is being grown, they have about 300,000 people, and there's been 7 cases of coronavirus for the last 10 days, and it hasn't changed. And that's because they have everyone under strict quarantine. They have people with curfews. You can only go out once a week based on the number on your driver's license. Markets are only open 3 days a week. And then in between, they're constantly fumigating the streets with Clorox and just keeping the entire environment very clean. And in the countryside, kind of like here in Vermont, social distancing is a little bit easier. So even though, COVID-19 is definitely something that's on people's minds in Bolivia, in the quinoa region, people have actually been pretty healthy. So that's kind of exciting. If we go through the rest of our syllabus, here we have our last day. We'll be doing final projects. And of course, everything will be done online. Okay, so that's what's coming up. And if I go back to our overview, we have regular check-ins that we'll be doing live if that works for you guys. And then we have our assignments. Okay, and that's really what I'm here to work on right now is the HubSpot email marketing. If we go here to modules up here to our left, okay, this will walk you through our entire week. So as you go through each thing, like our live weekly class check-in, and then once you complete that, you hit next and it takes you to the next thing. Okay, and here we have our HubSpot Academy email marketing. And this is where I'll be recording this video and you'll be finding it embedded in here. Okay, there you go, next, and there's our homework assignment. So as you keep going through this, hitting next and next, it'll take you through everything that you need to have done. Cool? All right, so what I'm really looking to do here is work with you guys on the lecture that's working with our HubSpot email marketing 8 to 9. Okay, so if we take a look at that, what we're doing is we're working on the last 2 lessons. We're using our different avatars for our user journey. Katie's doing the quick cooking, and Sam's doing the high nutrition, right? So as you go through this in your course pack, you'll be creating content and comparing messages that would be used to address your own specific avatar category. Okay. So to go to the HubSpot Academy site, let's go and click in there. Okay, and that's going to take us here to our first part, which is testing marketing emails. Okay, and then the second one that we'll be doing is developing relationships with lead nurturing. So as you guys know, when we do these, there's always our video that we can watch. There's the study guide also that can help give us guidelines on what we're going to be learning. Okay, and then we have resources. Okay, normally it's defaulted to about the lesson, but we can click onto resources and get a copy of the slides, the transcript, and then additional materials. The one additional material that I really like here is this particular infomat. So I would definitely recommend that you look at that. Okay. What's really cool about this is it is great for people with short attention spans. Okay. And it's looking at what we can do to get people's attention when we're doing email marketing. Okay. And as we're going down here, we're seeing that email attention spans are increasing, which is really interesting. And I think that shows that marketers have been doing a really good job at creating content that has value. Okay, so what we see is the average time spent reading an email has increased nearly 7% over the last 6 years, and we're looking at from 2011 to 2016. Okay. So they went from 10 seconds to 11 seconds, okay, but it's still something, right? People across the spectrum are engaging in email, and they tend to look at them a little bit more closely, right? So we see here's 2011 to 2016, how many are reading, skimming, and glancing, okay? So we still have a lot of emails are not opened at all, but we do have a lot more people reading it than just not, okay? People on mobile phones tend to read their emails a little bit more, okay, which might mean that they're reading them in between meetings or when they're on a train or, you know, downtime. They'll go and they'll pull stuff up on their phone. So that's really cool to think of because that's a whole different time that you can be talking to your audience, okay? When they have downtime, maybe they're waiting for something to happen. How to optimize your emails. You want to make sure that your subject line and preview test, you know, work well with the content because that's really going to be, you know, what makes it clickable. That it's responsive to mobile aware email design. And I think most of our templates now are adjusted that way. This is really good to use the subheads and bullets and other tactics to communicate quickly. So as people are scrolling through the email, they can see boom, boom, boom. What is it exactly that you're talking about? And they can stop and read the content under the areas that they're most interested in. You want to use the above the fold space wisely, right? Know that when people look at the email, they're not going to see the whole thing. So make sure what they're seeing is the most important. That your images are grabbing attention, that the load times are okay, especially here in Vermont. We always have to think about that, right? And long emails are okay, right? If you're presenting something that people are really interested in, they're going to take the time to go and actually read it. Okay, not too much, but still you can give them some substance, right? And people, I think, are really looking for more substance. Of course, check your links. So that's kind of cool. I thought that was a neat infographic. I appreciated them sharing that with us. Going back, there's some other things too. There's the HubSpot Academy on YouTube. So if you guys ever get totally bored being home without classes, you know, they have a really cool
Are you looking for HubSpot Academy's YouTube channel?
here.
Don't worry, we have just
learn
moved over
so
to the
many different
HubSpot
things.
main
So I'll
YouTube
short little
channel.
clips.
You can still find free education
some
to
are a
grow
little
your
bit
business and
longer,
career
but
in the HubSpot
lots and
Academy
lots of really
playlist
great
on the
stuff that you
HubSpot
can
YouTube channel.
continue to learn
I'm
from.
Crystal King,
And
the
you guys
social
can
media professor
also
for
do
HubSpot
the
Academy.
Academy
HubSpot and
classes on
HubSpot
your
Academy
own.
are combining
Okay,
our
and
two
continue
YouTube
to
channels
build your
to
own,
centralize all the content on YouTube into one place.
portfolio
Wondering
or
why we have decided to do
certifications,
this?
you know, through HubSpot
It has to
Academy.
do
So that
with
is
the huge YouTube
to be
algorithm.
available
The
for
two
you
factors that
outside of
affect
these
video
classes.
search ranking in YouTube are its
So if we
keywords
go to the
and relevance.
specific
When
lesson that we're
ranking videos
working
in
on,
search,
which is
YouTube
testing
will
your
consider
marketing
how well your
emails,
titles,
and we
descriptions,
go to our
tags,
workbook.
and content match
Okay,
each
so
user's
here we have
queries.
lessons
But they'll
8 through
also
9,
consider
testing
how
your
many
marketing
videos
emails.
users have watched
So we
from
want to
your
make sure that
channel.
we're getting the content
We
out
discovered
of
that our
the
HubSpot and HubSpot Academy YouTube
the
subscribers were
PowerPoint,
looking for the
okay,
same
and the
type
video
of
that
content.
HubSpot has,
This
so that we can
inspired
complete our
us
work
to
here in
research whether or
class.
not combining the
So
two
what we're
YouTube
looking
channels
at
would
is
benefit our
understanding
collective
why
audiences.
is it
So
important
you,
to
our
test
viewers,
our
can find
emails.
all
Okay,
of our
you guys
content
get to
in one
guess why,
place.
and I'll tell
Since
you.
we had a shared
Email
audience
contact
between the
info is
HubSpot
really
Academy
important,
and
okay? You
HubSpot
want to make
YouTube
sure that
channels,
you
by having
have
two
people's
separate
most
channels,
up-to-date
we were
emails, and you're not
reducing
just
our
bouncing
chances
into
of ranking on the
a
homepage
spam
and in
box.
suggested videos. By
We have a
combining
quote
and
here
having
that says that
one
which
channel for
measured
you, our viewers, to
improves.
subscribe to,
Okay, we
and
wanna
therefore
know
be
what does that
notified of
mean
new
in
content,
relation to
we
email
anticipate that we will
testing.
have a larger
And I'll
pool
give you
of
a
individuals that
clue
see
when
our
you measure
videos,
something,
thereby
then you have
increasing
a
our
place
views
to
on
start.
each new video
It
we
suddenly
publish.
becomes important.
More content more
And the way
often
it
will
becomes
lead to an
valuable is when
increase
you
in
measure
session
it
starts,
again.
and that
And
will
then you
allow
can see
all
has
content on
something
our channel to rank
changed.
higher
And
and
by
be seen
knowing
by
if
more
something's
viewers
changed
around
and
the
how
world.
much it's
Ultimately,
changed,
we
then you
believe
can
that by
check the
combining these
effectiveness,
channels, we will be able to
efficiency,
better reach our goal of
usefulness
helping
of
more
something that
businesses
you're
grow
doing.
better.
In advertising,
And more
you guys
importantly,
make your
now
money
you
by
can find
creating results.
all the types of
So
videos you
having
want
measurable
all in one
results is
place.
super
Head over to the
important
HubSpot
when you're
YouTube
working
channel
in marketing.
and click
So even
subscribe to
thinking
be
about it for
notified
yourself as you
each
craft
time
your
we upload
messages,
a new video.
taking out the guesswork can really help save you a lot of time and also make you feel more satisfied in what you're doing. So that's our quote. Thinking about something you want to know about your email campaign, right? What is something you want to know? You guys each have your own markets that you're working with. What are you not sure about, right? Is there a gender difference? Is quinoa really the same as rice in people's minds? Is, the nutritional value of quinoa and the time of corona the most important thing for people? Or is it more the flavor of the new recipe or the versatility, right? Think about what exactly you want to know. And then you get to do an A/B test, okay? So to do the A/B test, you create the same campaign twice, okay? But one time you change one thing for another. So maybe it's a picture, maybe it's a word, and everything else is exactly the same, okay? And by doing that A/B testing, then you can get better feedback on, well, what is it that's most important for people? So really isolating your wondering to two things and then being able to throw it out there and do it. So in real life, you would have maybe an active YouTube channel or an active Facebook feed, and you can put each ad up and then see which one is going to get the most responses, right? And that's how you can A/B test something. Cool. So you guys get to come up with an idea of how to A/B market one of your email test questions, right? So think about your goal and purpose. Who is it that you're going to be sending this to? How does that tie in with your goal and purpose? And what are you going to change? Okay, so come up with two different versions. You can do that as a PowerPoint or a Canva or any kind of way that you want to do it and just attach it to Canvas. You don't have to throw it in on this workbook. You can just put it in as an attachment or email it to me, whatever's easiest. Going forward, we'll see how we work together. Maybe we can make these shareable so we can talk about them live with each other if that works. Otherwise, we can just continue working it like this, and I can also link us in with a share so we can see what each other are doing. So here we want to summarize what our goal is and what is our hypothesis, right? How do we think we might get a response for what we've done? And then you design your test, okay, and you do it. So let's go see how good of a job we did with that. And we're going to go take a peek at our PowerPoint, okay, and we'll just go through that, make sure that we've hit everything. Okay, so why is this important? Well, we know because if you don't know what you don't know, then you're not going to be able to improve it, right? So knowing your audience, having time to talk to them, knowing their language is super important. And we don't always know it. Excuse me. So how are we going to improve this? Okay, so you have to think why you're doing this and what do you hope to get out of it? Okay, and here we have an example of A/B testing, right? Where data takes the guessing out of marketing. Okay, So here's a very simple idea, right? Blue versus black, right? What's going to have the best response? So again, have the goal, the segment, design, and review. Okay. Okay, think about the testable elements, right? How many emails you send to a list? What's the subject line? Okay, what's it going to look like? You can check the copy, the design, the images. You can do the color. Does yellow stand out more than orange? Or do I reverse out black background with white letters? Is that better than white background with black letters? Or a food picture versus people picture versus a chart or a graph, right? So you guys can figure out all those different things. What about like the call to action? Would a call to action that says get $5 off work more than a call to action that says buy one, get one free? Who knows? Okay, so these are all the different things that you can think about in doing your A/B testing. Okay, want to make sure you have enough people. How do you know how to do this? So then there's, they even have a calculator. If I go back here to HubSpot, they have a sample size calculator that'll help you figure out how many people do I need to send it to if I want to be really, really certain about the particular email that I'm sending to make sure that my message is going to be the right one. So let's say I want to be sending out 100 emails, or I have 100 emails. I'm sending it out, I don't know, maybe there's 500 people. Okay, if I calculate that, oops, I need to do my confidence level. So let's say, I'll do a 0.25. I'll be right in the middle with my confidence level. Calculate. Okay, so I'm going to need to really hit all 500 of those people just about to get a 95% confident level response with a 0.25 confident interval. Okay, so that would be helping me find my sample size. Or the other way around, I can find out, well, let's say I only have, there's 500 people, but I only have 100 emails, right? And that's the best that I can do. I want to be 50% confident, calculate it out, okay? I'll have an 8.77 confidence interval. Okay, kind of big. So, and this explains a little more about what that all means. So this is kind of cool, especially if you're working in an agency or you're working on a project, or even if you're doing something yourself and you want to know how much, how big, this is going to help you determine that. If we go back to our PowerPoint, let's see, we have this idea of the 50-50 test, okay, where we run one and we run another and we see how people respond. Okay, and again, this is talking about my sample size and how do I determine if I have enough people to send this to, so I'm actually getting an accurate representation of how people are understanding the two different ads. Okay. I'm going to keep scrolling down because I'm sure you've listened to this already. Okay, and now we're seeing a little bit of an example. Okay. And some of the different goals that we might have, right? So we're really looking at the content, the purpose, or the outcome, right? So we want to be really clear on what we're looking for so that we know what questions to ask and what we're testing. Okay, what else? So here's a goal. You want to improve email newsletter open rates from 11% to 15% during a business quarter. Okay. And then you want to think about, well, what's going to make that happen? So that's your hypothesis, your educated guess. So here we have the subject line contains characters and words that are triggering the recipient's spam filters. Okay, you want to be out of spam filters. All right, so that would be something to test, right? Are you using words that are going to be getting onto people's screens and getting through their spam filters? Okay. Don't end a test too soon. Okay, that's important also. Not everybody, especially in today's world, is going to be watching their emails 24/7. So give it a little bit of time. Okay. And you can always test again. That's a nice thing with online marketing. And what else? Okay, here's some different tools that they're introducing that'll actually help you do different tests and you can track it. And, it's nice if you're working with an agency or have a larger budget. So there we go. So that was our lesson 8. And then if we look at lesson 9, this is the last one. Okay, so far so good. You guys can take a breath. You can take a pause, stretch your legs if you need to do that. Come back. So for video session 9, we're looking at how do we develop a relationship with lead nurturing. And this is a really cool lesson because they just give us a lot of, checklist things to make sure we do, right? Timely, efficient, targeted, really good, right? We want to make people have a sense of urgency, a sense of this is a right now thing when they're getting their message from us, right? We want to make sure it's clear what we're telling them and we're talking to the right person. Okay, when we're doing this, we want to think about the inbound methodology, right? Attract, engage, delight. Okay, and especially that delight, not delight us, but delight them, right? Giving them something that they can share, something that they can use, something that's really cool that they're going to be happy to be a part of our email community. Okay, because one of the things that we want to do is not have people tolerating us but not engaging in us, right? We want people to like what we're sending them and to be happy to be part of our community. HubSpot says treat people the way you want to be treated and think about how you would nurture a lead for your customer as they move through the methodology. So put yourself in that customer's shoes, okay? Maybe I'm the low income person with no money. Okay, I'm the person that has a lot of kids to be feeding. I'm kind of stressed out. I don't have time for all these big fancy foodie things. And now I'm in the COVID-19 world. So I'm just cooking out of my pantry. I don't have time to even be sourcing out crazy or organic ingredients. I just need to have something I can count on. So quinoa is something I can count on. It's something that's filling, that's a full nutrition, has all the value of a meat protein. It's fast, it's easy to cook. I just looked up in my pressure cooker. I can cook quinoa in 1 minute. Okay, so 1 minute, I have a full protein. I have protection against corona. I have, an easy to prepare meal that everybody can eat. I can sweeten it for children, put some maple syrup and cinnamon in it to make it a breakfast cereal. I can use it as a savory dish with a couple of vegetables, some salt and garlic for dinner. I can throw it into my soup instead of rice. There's so much versatility here and it's not expensive. It's cheaper than meat. Okay, it's faster and easy to cook and it's safer. All right, so those are all really cool things that we can be thinking about. So how might we attract somebody, right? If you're using the corona environment, how can I guarantee my family protein when it's hard to get out to the store, right? So quinoa can be stored for months, okay? And it's going to give you that protein. What's the engage? Well, how do I make a dish that my whole family will eat? How do I make sure my family's getting the protein and the nutrients they need to keep their body healthy? Okay, kind of similar to what I just said. We can do the quinoa breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, and then delight. This is awesome. Look at the funny little quinoa. Can you draw a little quinoa? Make something shareable. Put a crown on quinoa, right? This is royal quinoa, and corona means crown in Spanish. So how can the royal quinoa wear the corona crown? I don't know. That might be a bad idea. But think of ways that you can make this shareable and a lot of fun. Is that cool? So I'd be like Katie's ideas, and then Sam's ideas would be different, right? Sam's folks are stuck in the house. They are bored to tears, and boy, can you be creative with quinoa. Okay, so again, that attract, engage, delight with building crazy creative recipes with quinoa. And people have all the time in the world to be grinding quinoa by hand and making quinoa flapjacks and cookies and, just really going and getting fully immersed in that quinoa environment. Cool? All right. So next we have HubSpot found customers respond better when contact time between messaging is shorter. Okay, so how might you build efficiency into your campaign? And that's something that we'll be thinking about when we move into our Kickstarter too, because sometimes we can get so exhausted coming up with the work that we've done that we're like, oh, I'm done. But you're not, okay? Because the customer's going to get that message and boom, 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 2, 3 days later, they need another one. Okay. So we want to be thinking about that, being efficient. So if we create one kind of template, how can we continue to build on that? Right. So that we have this common image, so that messages are easy to switch out. So we're not doing a huge amount of original work every single time. Think about a subject line for each of the 4 types of email that in lead nurturing campaign. Okay, so that's number 5. All right, so think about emails that establish trust. What's going to be a subject line for that? Ones that provide additional downloads and resources, right? Click here, or did you know, or how to. A call to action. Okay, get your long-lasting protein now. And then breakup emails. Sorry, we have seen that you haven't been very active with us. Would you like to take a break? All right, and give them that chance so you don't become the pain in the neck in their email that they don't really care about. Okay, make sure that you're not there if they don't want you there. And then, what's the biggest takeaway that you got from this email marketing course? All right, you guys get to answer that on your own. Cool. That takes us to the end of email marketing. Let's just take a quick jump up to the PowerPoint, make sure we hit it all. Let's see, here we are, developing relationships. Okay, and this came right from HubSpot. So if I go here, testing your email, here we have developing relationships. Why is lead nurturing important? Okay, I downloaded it, and this is what we'll find out. Okay, and I think we've hit a lot of this already, but let's just double check. Okay, and definitely listen to this on your own too. Repetition is great. What makes lead important? Well, we know what makes it important, and this is where you can be successful. Okay, and this is where it's timely, efficient, and targeted. Okay, and here they're selling some software that'll also help us with that. Okay, and this is good. The odds of an inbound lead become qualified are 21 times greater when they're contacted within 5 minutes versus 30 minutes. Okay, so having something automatically on your website, hey, thanks for visiting. Okay, and you can have those things automatically generated. A lot of website programs have that built in. You just have to turn it on and feed it some content. Being human, helpful, okay, and targeted. Cool. And the big thing is building trust, right? We want to be a friend. Then this is how do you do this? Okay. Some of the goals that we have is to have a goal. Have our personas, have our content, have a timeline. Again, that's so important in having things scheduled and set up in advance. Okay, and then measuring and improving. Sometimes I think of it like a fireworks display, where everybody's there and you're throwing a couple of fireworks, people are kind of talking, not really paying attention, but now you're starting to get better fireworks and they're like, oh, now even better, and now everybody's paying attention. Okay, but it takes a while. And then they're waiting because they know the grand finale's coming, right? And everybody is like, is this it? Is that it? Is this it? Okay, so that having them really bought in and having them getting more and more excited to be a part of what you're doing is kind of like watching a 4th of July fireworks display. All right, and then we have nurturing. We have this great thing from Smart Mug Media about nurturing, because people are at all different points in their buyer's journey. Okay, so they've come across your website, they've engaged in your Kickstarter, grab them, right? But know who they are and where they are and why they're there. Okay, so that's going to be important to make sure that you're able to identify that. And sometimes that's by giving them a follow-up email where they have some choices, and then depending on what they choose, then you can see, well, are they somebody that's looking for a recipe or looking for nutritional value or looking for a coupon, right? So that's going to help you as well. And tracking that. When they come onto your website for different reasons, tracking that is super important. Let's see, we have different types of emails. Okay, so there's some that are there just to establish that trust, right? When you're just getting to know someone. Then the additional resources, the call to action. You don't want to slam people with the call to action before you build their trust, because then you just seem like a snake oil salesman, right? You want them to really know you and you know them, before you just try to throw them something. Okay. And then the breakup emails. Okay. And even after you do a breakup email, I always find, like, after 6 months, just touch base. Hey, you guys still interested in us? But that's something later down the line. But breakup doesn't mean broken up forever. Goals is good. Okay, behavior email. Actions. Okay, 39% of marketers say they automatically sending emails based on trigger is the most effective tactic for improving engagement. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So making sure you capture those triggers on your website, for example. Timing is everything. There's actually certain times of the day that you can send out emails that they're more apt to be open. Nowadays, with our workplace environment so changed, I could see that varying and not being so predictable anymore. But here's the 3 best practices, right? And we've kind of heard this in different ways already. So tracking how people interact with you, and you can do that through cookies. You can do that through other software analytics, seeing where and how people are coming into your realm. Determine what actions a contact might take. Okay, again, not you, but the contact, what might they want to do, and get that conversation going. Now that so many more people are online, you can even start getting that literal and have a lot more maybe face to face if people are up for that. Having those bloggers, those little robots, being able to respond to people on websites, that's kind of cool and easy. So we have some best practices. Again, just having that data, tracking how people interact. And that means not just email, but it can even be like if you have tabling, like Katie, how you'll sell your bears on campus during parents' weekend or graduation. Keeping track of that also. Like, what are people saying? Why are they interested in the bears? Let's see, what else do we have? A core piece, databases. Okay. Best practices for behavioral emails. Again, keeping track of who those avatars are, knowing how you expect them to react. If you're not sure, a tool that we always have are focus groups, okay, where you can get a bunch of people together and have them talking about your product, is just talking about, what it's like to be them. Okay, and we can set that up virtually with a reward of get some quinoa or come out to dinner, or come to a dinner party sponsored by Perfect Seed and sample quinoa. And then we can have discussion groups around tables and start capturing some ideas and get a more content about who these foodie people might be. Okay, so they can be done online. They can also be done offline, right? But that can also inform your online strategy. Okay, and then starting that conversation. Okay, best practices all over the place, right? Okay, and I think we got that, right? Lead nurturing. Okay, we got some nice questions here. Okay, how can you get around some blocks that you might have? All right, and planning it. Okay, putting the time into creating these relationships. The less guesswork, the better. Having patience. It does take a huge amount of time to send out a message that's going to be read in 10 seconds or not, right? But once you kind of get used to it and get into the mindset, it's a lot of fun. And I always find like kind of bulk developing these things are really cool, because you can take this really focused, targeted approach right now, jam out content for maybe 2 weeks worth of social media, have it all set up, stick it through Buffer or another kind of scheduling tool, and then have it boom, boom, boom go off, kind of like that fireworks display, until you hit the grand finale, which is that call for action. Cool. So if we go back to our workbook, there we go. Your biggest takeaway, what might it be? Don't forget to go and do that quiz. Okay, if you write down your answers to the questions and you're very methodical, you can get through that exam and get your certification. I think there's, oh, I don't know, maybe 60 questions and you have to get 40 of them right. But you can continue to take it over and over again. Cool. What else do we have? I think that's everything. And then if I go back to my module, okay, what we have coming up in week 10 is going to be our our Kickstarter. So that's going to be really cool. So that's coming up. So this week we're just going to finish off everything that's here. I'll be seeing you online soon. And this is your lecturer that's helping you with your um, HubSpot Academy email marketing. Cool. If you have any questions, you're not sure about anything, definitely call me, email me. We can do a live chat during any of our scheduled classroom times. And that's it. All right, take care. Enjoy. Bye.